Thank you, and thank you. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Once again, my name is Charles with Bartholomew Enterprises, commercial funding source. There's two things that we're going to be touching on today, and let me just backtrack real quick. Last week we touched on the SBA new ARC program that they just released for $35,000. So what we're going to do is today we're going to cover the actual forms that one needs to fill out and complete to actually get approved for that actual program and try to get some funding in place in regards to that $35,000. The second thing we're going to touch on, we're going to be touching on the smaller banks and the larger banks. The smaller banks versus your larger banks. Which bank should you, as a consumer and as a small business owner, target when it comes to applying for an actual loan, whether it's an SBA loan or a commercial loan? So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. These forms in regards to the ARC program are very, very simple to fill out. So we're not going to spend too much time on them, but I'm going to go through each form thoroughly so that you understand that it's not a long, drawn-out process. First form that you're actually going to fill out is going to be a basic application. Your basic application with your name, phone number, so on and so forth, It'll probably take you somewhere right around 3 minutes to fill that actual form out. And that's the form that actually comes from the financial institution for their records. Second form that you're going to be filling out and going to be completing is actually called the Lender's Supplemental Information for American Recovery ARC Loan Guarantee Request Form. This form is approximately 2 pages long. Okay, this form, you basically fill out your name once again. You fill out your company's name, the company's information, area code, address, so on and so forth. If it's a new business or if it's existing business, how long you've been in business as well. The percentage of ownership, if you have another partner in it as well. Some of your payable notes, some of your business credit cards have to be filled in as well. This particular form right here, and you probably can't see it, but I'm going to put it there anyway. This particular form will probably take you all of maybe 3 to 4 minutes as well. Okay, that's that form. The next form, the third form, is actually called the American Recovery ARC Program. Once again, borrower information form. All this form is approximately 3 pages long. At the top of this form, it says applicant's business name, which is of course the name of your business. Then you have your individual name, your name, social security number, your title, owner, CEO, and the date of birth. From there, all the questions, which there's about 17 questions, are true and false questions. That's it. Sign the bottom of it. It'll probably take you maybe a minute to a minute and a half to fill this out. Sign the bottom of it, and that's it, and you're done. Okay, that's the next form. Next form actually is going to be a schedule of business debt, which we all know what that is. Basically, how much debt do you have on your business? Real simple. Next form, a basic cash flow worksheet. We all know exactly what that is. What is your cash flow? Because this sheet is actually going to come in, in an Excel format. So all you have to do is just fill in the blank. And it's a very basic sheet that'll probably take you 30 seconds if that. Your next, the next information that you're going to need is your projected cash flow sheet. Not your projected cash flow sheet, but your projected income over the next 3 years. That's going to be the next form that you have to complete. All that's stating is, what are you going to be doing in the next 3 years? What do you see your business year 1, year 2, year 3 from here on out? How much money you project to bring in on those particular years? And then lastly, of course, you got to fill out a 4506T form. All that is a tax form for the government, just so that they can track everything, which we're familiar with that as well. And I should also say you need a personal financial statement, which if you have one, you can send one over. So as you can see, it's it's going to be real simple. All in all, it's probably going to take you 15 minutes to fill out these forms. I highly suggest that you get these forms back to myself, and if I'm not originating the loan or taking care of it, whoever it is that's taking care of it, you might want to get those forms back as soon as possible. Now, the second thing that I want to touch on is your large banks, your small banks. Which banks are lending and why these banks are not lending. Which banks should you possibly target? This is going to be a case-by-case scenario. Depending on your project, If it's a larger project, and when I say larger project, I'm talking 5, 10 mil, 15 mil, somewhere in that ballpark, you might want to target some of your larger banks, Wachovia, Bank of America, so on and so forth. If it's a smaller project, you might want to target some of your smaller banks. If it's a business acquisition, what I mean by that is you're just purchasing just a business. Take a Dairy Queen, a Dunkin' Donuts, a Zaxby's, a Culver's restaurant, so on and so forth. That you might want to target some of your smaller banks as well. We're going to go into a little bit more detail in the next segment, but that's just a rough overview in regards to your larger banks and your smaller banks and which ones that you should be targeting depending on the dollar amount of your actual project, because your smaller banks are more apt to take a little bit more risk because they actually didn't take the big hit in this financial crisis that your larger banks did. So they have they have a tendency to look a little bit more closely at your project and say, okay, we have a little rough spot here, but we can still go ahead and take a chance, and the committee will approve that. So, with that being said, hope you got something out of this today. Once again, if you have any questions in regards to any of the videos that I sent out, any of the blogs that I send out, by all means, give me a call. Once again, I'm at 404-419-2119, or you can go to www.barthelomyenterprises.com. Once again, that's 404-419-2119. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Until next time, ciao.